Day of solidarity with the Palestinian people, and to commemorate the day, the embassy of the State of Palestine in South Africa, together with various South African government departments and the United Nations Information Centre, will host a seminar entitled The Year of O.R. Tambo and the Palestinian Struggle Under Occupancy. To tell us more, we're joined in studio, well, not in our studios, but in the Hatfield, Pretoria SABC studios by Dr Nabil Shaath. He is a senior Palestinian official and advisor to Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. Good to have you, Doctor. Thank you very much for joining us here on the program.
Thank you.
On this day, 70 years ago, the UN adopted a resolution to partition Palestine into two states, that of the Jewish state of Israel and the Arab state of Palestine. And of course, at the time, the Arabs rejected the partition, and since then, it's been detrimental for the Palestinian people. Am I correct in this?
Well, the Israelis occupied 78% of Palestine in 1948 and set a Zionist state in which most Palestinians were ethnically cleansed, were sent away. Two-thirds of our population turned into refugees. But in 1967, Israel occupied the remaining 22% of Palestine, which includes the West Bank and Gaza, with East Jerusalem, the capital. And with that occupation, the total land of Palestine has fallen under the occupation of the Israelis. The division of Palestine in 1947, 1948 was not something really fair to us, was not acceptable to us. But we eventually accepted it as a way of reaching a solution whereby an independent Palestinian state would be created on the land of the West Bank and Gaza. Today, as we are looking back to the day when the United Nations decided to divide Palestine into two states, we are still under full Israeli occupation in an apartheid regime which is so much similar to the apartheid system that South Africa was subjected to. And the struggle of South Africa for freedom or equality and democracy is an inspiration to the Palestinian people. The relationship between our two leaders, Mandela and Yasser Arafat, and between our two people has always been a cornerstone of our struggle for freedom and for peace. On this day, I join the celebration by the people and government and ANC of South Africa, the day of solidarity with the Palestinian people. Solidarity that helped very much resolve the South African issue, and we're looking forward to seeing the world support our cause and stand by us and make the cost of Israeli occupation higher by sanctions and real measures in order to go back to peace. We are willing to live in peace with the Israelis. We were willing to live with them peace in one state, just like South Africa. Indeed. They wouldn't do that. So we accepted to live in two states side by side. And so far, this has not been possible, but we continue our struggle and we continue our efforts.
Well, I think you've answered my question, what the United Nations Day, when you're commemorating it, the objective, and that objective obviously is solidarity, is what you're looking for. Let's just look a little bit back at the history of South Africa and also the support that it has shown Palestine on numerous occasions. I mean, when we look at former Presidents O.R. Tambo as well as Nelson Mandela, they really did express their solidarity with the Palestinian cause. And today there's a seminar that's entitled The Year of O.R. Tambo and the Palestinian Struggle Under Occupation. Can you give us a little bit more insight into this?
Well, really, our joint struggle, our relationship, all through the time that South Africa was struggling for an end of apartheid and really for freedom, we kept a very close relationship, and today really South Africa remains the strategic ally of the Palestinian people, the major supporter of the rights of the Palestinian people. We seek and get its support in the United Nations, in direct relations between us, and to support measures that would put pressure on the Israelis to move towards ending its occupation and going back to a peace process. We really see that the statement by Mandela after reaching freedom for South Africa, his statement that the freedom of South Africa will not be complete until the Palestinian people get their freedom as well, was not just a statement. It had been implemented by the people of South Africa and the leadership of South Africa.
Yeah.
We feel safe and secure with the support of South Africa to the struggle of our people.
Indeed. Let's have a look at. However, you know, we look at what's happening in Palestine itself, and then, you know, we still have the divided factions that are still existing, and we're talking mainly about Fatah in the West Bank and Hamas in the Gaza Strip. How do you hope that this is going to be resolved?
We are moving towards unity between the West Bank and Gaza, between Hamas and Fatah and the PLO organizations. Egypt has really helped and continues to help as an intermediary and as a guarantor. I think we've made significant progress. And we have now one civilian government that administers Gaza Strip as it does the West Bank. We are going to have elections for presidency and for parliament during the first half of next year. And that will reinstall our democracy. In a way, unity also brings back democracy and strength, and appeal to the world that we are one country seeking recognition. I'm optimistic that, and I must say here that South Africa also played a role in getting back to negotiations and to unification between Gaza and the West Bank. Gaza suffers from the Israeli siege. Gaza had been bombarded 3 times during the last 10 years by the Israelis, and there is a lot that needs to be done to save the people of Gaza. And I think unity is the first real step towards that solution.
We leave it there for this morning. We wish you the best of luck. Thank you very, very much for talking to us here on the program. Dr. Nabil Shaath is a senior Palestinian official and advisor to the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, talking to us about commemorating UN International Day in solidarity with the Palestinian people.